Take 3 snippets and call me in the morning. Welcome to Sobriety Snippets for Women Over 40, where we elevate our mindset to trade hangovers for higher consciousness. I'm Becca Jacobson. It's Monday. We are beginning another week here in Snippet Land, and we got a lot of juicy stuff for you this week, gals. I'm really excited about the 3 snippets, and the 3 strolls will be on a similar topic as well. We got a really good one. You ready? Ready? Well, as you may know, if you've been here in Snippet Land a while, one of the things we talk about here is having a sacred space. If you're new in Snippet Land, first of all, welcome to Snippet Land. This is where we keep the home fires burning for women over 40 who have it all together, except the alcohol. I'm Becca Jacobson. Been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, wrote the book, and I'm here to show you how to move beyond that and into the best chapter of your life. So you have found the place to be, the place. This is it. This is where we do it. Okay, gals, sacred spaces. I just made it plural for the first time because this week I'm going to show you 3 different sacred spaces you need in your life. Beautiful spaces that will create the harmony and balance in your life. And I'm really excited about it. Today, we're going to start with the basic, the foundational, and that is a physical sacred space. On Wednesday's episode, we're going to talk about mental and emotional sacred space. Just as important. Actually, could be more important. And finally, on Friday's episode, we're going to talk about relational sacred space. This is your energy, how it interacts with the world and the people around you, and how to keep it sacred. Wow, that's a lot. It's going to be a really big, juicy week. So let's get started. What do I mean by a physical sacred space? Well, my dear, when we use spaces in our world for the same thing over and over, we build up energy in that space, energy that is tied to the activity that we're actually doing there. For example, the kitchen is the food space. We know when we walk into that room, it's going to have something to do with food, preparing food, cleaning up after food. The body goes into food mode. The mind tends to go towards food and cooking mode. The energy in the kitchen is tied to that, and it's automatic. You don't walk into the kitchen and feel like laying down on the floor and taking a nap. It's just not where that happens. Similarly, your bedroom has a certain atmosphere. You've slept there many, 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 many hours, and so it's easier to sleep in that space. You might do other things there as well, and that's always good. But again, you're going to walk into that room. The subconscious knows, oh, this is where I rest, or this is where I'm loved. Whatever happens in your bedroom, that's the energy that's going to be there. That is why, let me just put an aside in here, but that's why we keep the screens out of the bedroom. We don't want to mix energies. We don't want you going into the kitchen for a nap. All of a sudden, every time I walk in the kitchen, I want to fall asleep. Why? Because I started snoozing there. That would not work. That's kind of silly, but listen to what we're doing in the bedroom. Often we're bringing the screen with us. We might even relax in that bed and watch an entire movie on our device. This is not good, gals. We want to keep our energy, our spaces clean. So keep your bedroom for what it's for resting the body, rejuvenating the body. Those are the 2 primary activities that happen in our bedrooms, and that is all that should happen there. And the reason we want to build this is the subconscious learns. We want the subconscious on our side in all areas of our lives. And so when we walk into the bedroom, we don't want to have to fight to sleep because the mind is lit up and expecting to watch a movie or scroll or whatever it is we're doing on that screen. So we keep the screen out of the bedroom. I hope you don't have a TV in there. I won't even go there. If you do, well, you can probably guess my opinion on that. So the bedroom has an energy. It's a space that does a certain thing. The kitchen, we go into the living room and there's the TV. Now we have a different space, a different energy. We use it for what we use it for, right? Watching that television or often sitting with loved ones, family, or when guests visit, etc. So you get my point here, right? The bathroom, that's where we clean the body and so on. But here's the thing. Where do you do your self-care? Where do you sit down and maybe open a journal or do a meditation or stretch your body or pray or just sit quietly and feel who you are deep inside? Where do you do that work in your home? Where is that space? It should be there, my dear. If you can't answer that question, or what is more likely, you do some of those things, but you do it at the kitchen table, which by the way is an eating space. Or you do it on the bed, which is not what the bed is for, right? We just went through that. Maybe you do it in the dining room. Maybe you do it wherever you're doing it. It's a space that's being used for something else. That puts mixed energy into the room. And so I always say here on the snippets, now I haven't talked about it for a while, but those of you who've been around, you've heard me mention this. I always say, I want you having a sacred space, a physical space in your home that you go to in order to look after yourself. A space that builds up an energy that says to your subconscious, oh, we're in this space now. That means I'm going to take care of myself. It's my time. I get to debrief. This is where I learn to breathe, learn to journal, learn to meditate, learn to stretch, learn to pray, learn to be quiet, whatever it is. This is where I do it because I'm worth it. And I spend time each day looking after myself. You don't have to do all those things. I'm just listing some possibilities. What does this sacred space have to look like? Well, it would be great if you had an entire room to yourself. And if you have that space in your home, hallelujah, let's use it. But if you don't, you can choose a corner of a room. You can choose a particular chair, maybe just pulled away from the dining room table. You can pull a chair into your bedroom, put it beside the bed. Don't go on the bed, but beside the bed, maybe in the corner of the room if you have space, that this chair, this little table beside it where I've set my journal, this is my sacred space. I mean, if you really have to, clean out a big closet and make it your sacred space. I just hope it has a window, all right? Here's a story for you. I've never told this story, and it's a true story. This idea of a sacred space has been in my life for a long, long time. And in 2004, I had finished grad school and was starting my career as an English professor, and that required us to move. We moved from Vancouver, large city, to a smaller town, to the college where I would be working. We bought a little house. There was no space in this little house for my sacred space. And even back then, yes, I was still drinking. Gals, I've been on the personal development journey a long, long, long time, long before I was ever able to quit drinking. I was desperately trying everything. And the things that I tried were ultimately, I was hoping were going to get me sober. None of them did, and that's another story for another day. But here's my point. I was learning meditation. I knew I needed a space in my home to look after myself, and there was nothing. And I did exactly that, gals. I used a closet. And it wasn't even a big closet. And actually, no, it didn't have a window. I'm not making this up. Come and ask my husband. He will confirm it. I just used an ordinary size closet in the second bedroom, which I couldn't use because we had children staying there, adult children. That's another story. But the closet in that second room was available because no one was actually living there. They were just staying there too often for me to use the room, if you get my point. So I made that closet off limits. When you stay here, you're not allowed to use the closet. Essentially, that's what I said. Now, my husband thought I was crazy. Well, they all thought I was crazy. I put in there a little altar. At the time, I was studying a Buddhist form of meditation. I put a candle in there. I put some, whatever, I can't remember, some cushions and a light, the brightest light I could find because it was windowless. And gals, I sat in that closet and meditated and journaled. I did. I swear. Hey, I see you in the back there rolling your eyes. I'm not making this shit up, okay? Now, I actually don't recommend that. We weren't in that house for long. Happily, we were there less than a year and we moved to the house we're in now. So all is well. That's always been my approach to life. If I don't have what I need, I'll find a freaking way to make it happen. If that means I have to sit in a closet, then damn it, I'll sit in a closet. And I did a lot of meditation in that room and I learned a lot in that room. So I'm not going to take an excuse from any of you about the size of your home or your situation or how many people are in there or whatever it is. Find a space. And as I said, that space can just be a particular chair that you say, this is off limits. This is my chair. We really don't want others in our sacred space. They may use that room. If all you have is the corner of a room or a particular chair, that's fine. But even if it's a space that's just a chair, that only you sit in and only at, let's say, 6 a.m. when you're doing your self-care, whenever it is. We'll talk in a minute about what goes on there. But no matter how small or how limited, find a space that you're committed to using for your self-care. Now, what goes on there? Gals, that's up to you. I teach so many things here on the snippets. But the one thing that I say, I don't tell you what to do in that space. What I say to you is commit. Oh my God, commit to at least 5 minutes a day, minimum, and 5 minutes is enough if that's all you have, of self-care. So let's just say that's all you've got. You go each day and you sit in that one particular chair. You do it when the house is still asleep or when they've gone to bed, whatever. You find those 5 minutes. You commit to them. You write it down. I'm committed every day at 6 a.m. for 5 minutes before I go and have my shower, put the coffee on, whatever it is. You commit to those 5 minutes. Now, I once did the math on this. I'm not going to do it again. Actually, no, I will. Hold on. Let me pause for a second. I'm going to redo that math because it's been a good year and I want to make sure I'm remembering it correctly. So just hold on a second. I'm back. I was right, gals. I did remember it right. 5 minutes a day over 1 year is 30 hours of self-care. To be exact, it's 30.416 hours of self-care. 30 hours of self-care. I mean, come on, people. It's worth it. Now, here's what happens. You commit to 5 minutes. Please don't sneer at that, honestly. Because what happens is women will say to me, oh, well, it was only 5 minutes. I mean, what? No. You are sending a message to your subconscious, I matter. After you've been consistent for a week or 10 days or 2 weeks or whatever it is, you'll automatically go, well, you know what? I could actually do 6 minutes or 7 or 10. It just automatically starts growing. The key here is that we're building confidence in ourselves and faith in ourselves, and we're telling our subconscious, I'm looking after myself, even if I got to sit in the closet for 5 minutes. It matters. So whatever you choose to do there, in those 5 minutes, for example, you have enough time for a 2-minute meditation, so 2 minutes in silence, a minute of prayer, asking for guidance, and another 2 minutes of breathing and journaling out your intention for the day. That's an entire practice right there. What you do, we talk about, as I say, on this show all the time, different options for growing. So I'll leave that. My goal today is to get you to commit to a physical, sacred space in your home where you commit to looking after yourself. And on Wednesday, I'm going to talk to you about probably an even more or certainly equally important sacred space. That is your mind. What goes on in your mind is sacred and it affects your emotions. So on Wednesday, we're doing thoughts and emotions and creating a sacred space around them. Gals, thanks for being in Snippet Land. We are officially launched for a new week. And tomorrow there'll be a stroll on this same topic. Go to the YouTube channel, check it out. The link is in the show notes. And today I'm also putting a link to the Sacred Mirror. That's right, I've thrown open the doors to the Sacred Mirror. It is your time. If you've never done it, what are you waiting for? The Sacred Mirror is a beautiful, private, confidential form, a little online form you fill out, meaning you answer 4 questions and the answers are sent directly to me. And those questions just allow you to give me a bit of your story and where you're at right now. I read them and only me. and I turn on this microphone in response and give you back a reflection, a sacred reflection, not advice, not a pitch, just a reflection of what I'm hearing you say. It's beautiful. Women love it. Hundreds of women have done it over the last year. Maybe it's your time to try the sacred mirror. Thanks for popping in. Be sure to come back next time so I can keep your head on straight. Sending you buckets of love.
The modern man is fascinating. He has a standing desk. He takes creatine. He listens to podcasts at 2 times the speed. He owns 3 water bottles and he follows 6 productivity influencers. Then every weekend, he drinks enough alcohol to tranquilize a rhinoceros. If any of this sounds familiar, I'm Shane Raymer, host of That Sober Guy podcast. We talk performance, we talk purpose, we talk leadership, and we talk about building a better life without alcohol. Because the answer isn't another life hack. It's removing the thing that's holding you back. Search That Sober Guy wherever you get your podcasts.